Hello, this is Chillspine, and I wanted to talk about certain settings that'll give you an advantage in a jet. One of the first things you want to do is be an engineer and use a repair tool. So if you get disabled or you take a lot of damage in hardcore mode and you can't regenerate, you can land it somewhere and rep it up to full, and then take off and start over. Another thing you're going to want to do is to get into your options, your controls, and you're going to go to in the jet. And you need to bind a key to pitch up. Um, I use left control. A lot of people like to use spacebar. You can really use anything you want as long as it doesn't interfere with your normal flying controls. A lot of people don't like to use left control because of left shift is the afterburner. Um, but it hasn't really been an issue with me because whenever I need to use my afterburner, I can just use the mouse to draw back and pull up that way. The second thing you're going to want to do is to go into your video settings and change your mesh quality up to ultra. This is going to make it so you can actually see units, infantry units, tanks, other jets from across the entire map pretty much. In hardcore mode, it's still pretty hard to see infantry on the ground, but they are there. And in regular mode, 3D spotting makes it so you can see infantry from really far away, making the jets really deadly for infantry. Those are really the only two things you need to change, in my opinion. You can play with whatever video settings you want, whatever resolution your computer can handle. As you see, I'm using a lot of low, crappy settings because I want to have the highest FPS I can have. So my game will just be smooth and it makes flying a lot easier. Once you've got those things down, you can hop in a jet. And there's a couple basic things that everybody should know. Right here where it says -79 is your altitude. You obviously want to keep an eye on that, mostly because if you get too high, you'll get stuck in the ceiling, and that really sucks. Next one is your speed. This is pretty important as far as turning radius goes. The general consensus is somewhere around 310 to 315, we'll just call it miles per hour, is the desired speed for the sharpest turn. Now, this doesn't guarantee you're going to win a dogfight just because you can turn at 310 or 315. There's tons of other factors involved that we'll go into at a later time. A couple other things that we see here. M is just for Mach. It's not important. G, just how many Gs you're turning. You can use that to try and get the sharpest turns if you're just practicing by yourself. But when you're actually flying against other people, these things down here will not really be used at all. So right now, I'm on our empty private server just to help make these videos. You'll notice that we're sitting here. A lot of times when you're in a public server, obviously people will be trying to take the jets and the Vipers, and it can be difficult to get in the vehicles quickly enough. I find the fastest way to do it is have your mouse over the position it's going to be, and then you're just going to want to hit enter as soon as it pops up. And you may be screwed over and put in the deployment from time to time, but this is the most reliable way to get in the jet. Initially when I get in a jet, almost every time I'm going to start going forward pretty much immediately, but I'm going to be looking around to the left, to the right, to above me, just to see if there's other jets around. Obviously there's nobody here right now, but it's a good habit to make because a lot of pubs like to what's called base rape, you know, try and stop you from even taking off or just try and kill you as soon as you take off. And knowing where they are is obviously the first step to avoiding something like that. This is the new map, Albor's Mountains, you're probably all familiar with. It's extremely large. It's really hard to see infantry here on hardcore mode, but it can be done. There will be little black spots on the white snow. If they're in the rocks, it's pretty much impossible to see them. Tanks and things are pretty difficult to see when they're blending in with the rocks, but again, if they're on the white snow, it becomes pretty easy to see. And you can always look for gunfire or look for missiles or whatever you can do to help spot the other enemy. I'm always mashing the Q button, which is a default spot button. And this is good for me because obviously my voice character will say, I've spotted so-and-so down there. So you'll know somebody's in that general area. Also, it puts them on the mini-map for your teammates, so it'll be easier for them to see them and obviously kill them, which will make it easier for your team to win the game. In hardcore mode, spotting is a little less useful, but it's still good. It still puts enemies on your teammates' mini-maps, and obviously that can never be a bad thing. And obviously in normal mode, spamming Q is always desired. As soon as you see a person, it'll just put a little orange triangle above their head. And because we changed our mesh quality, you're going to be able to see them from really far. And they're going to yell at you because they don't like it.
User joined your channel.
So we've got our controls here. We have our, well, mine personally, left control is switched to pitch up. So right now I'm not touching my mouse at all, and I'm turning as sharp as I can with the speed I'm going, obviously, just by holding down the control key. This just makes it so you don't have to pull your mouse 1,000 miles across your desk over and over and over to maintain the same turning speed. And now you'll notice when I lower my speed to between 310 and 315, try and keep it as steady as I can, that I'm turning pretty sharp. If you look down at the G indicator, it's steadily between 9 and 10 Gs, which is a pretty sharp turn. People can't really turn sharper than that, so you see these people doing these circles of death in the sky. That's because both of them are turning at 310, and they're both holding down a key to pull back as hard as they can. And this can go on for a really long time, but whoever has the steadier speed and the steadier turns will usually come out on top. In more of a match scenario, circles of death are not very common. You're going to have some type of backup, teammates or something, to get these guys off you if you're circling. If you're circling in their territory, you're going to die. If they're circling in your territory, they're going to die. So it's pretty straightforward. Dogfighting is a little less important in a match than it is in a pub. A lot of times in a pub, it'll just be a constant dogfight for the sky, which is fun from time to time. I'm more of a bomb the crap out of the ground forces, killing you just to show up and get back to business kind of guy, but again, it is fun to just dogfight from time to time. One thing you'll notice about jet pilots in a pub is they seem to be the loudest mouthed people. If you kill them, they're going to rage in chat. If they kill you, they're going to mock you in chat. You know, I don't really care about people in chat, what they say, I don't care. I almost never say anything in chat, I don't respond. The more pissed off they get, cool. I don't really care if I get owned. I mean, I don't think I'm the best pilot. If somebody's better than me, congratulations, man, more power to them. If I'm owning up some noobs, well, you know, it's just how the game works. But that's pretty much all I can tell you as far as controls and setup, what you need to be doing for turning. We'll get more into some advanced shooting and maneuvers here in the next video.